Hey, it's Rick Brinkus here with Keller Williams Realty The Marketplace, and I'm so excited. We've got a special guest today. We've got Larry Perna from Bridge Home Inspection. So Larry, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Larry and I have been working together for, how long has it been? About 6-7 years now?
6-7 years, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And one of the things that Larry does so well is that customer service approach, having the heart of a teacher, kind of sharing information, making it meaningful for the buyer, giving them information about the home. And Larry, over the 6 or 7 years that we've been working together, your business has really grown, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. I think I first heard a commercial, Rick and Terry Brinkus, da-da-da-da, and I want to call that guy. And I called and I came down here, and I didn't know who you were, but I said, I'd like to work for you guys. And I had one other fellow working for me, and we've grown. Now we have 9 inspectors, and we're doing a lot of volume right now.
That is amazing. Well, and that's the way any good business grows, is you do a great quality job, you provide great customer service, and it just grows. And to have that many inspectors. Tell me about the process with inspectors. I know you're still actually actively doing inspections as well, is that right?
I am, yes. So
okay. And
larger ones, bigger homes, or just sometimes just like even a condo. If I get requested, I'll show up. And so I'm probably doing 4 or 5 a week. And,
wonderful.
Typically, though, I like to have the guys earning their pay out there, so they usually do 2 or 3 a day.
Perfect.
So
wow.
We're doing 15 to 20 home inspections a day right now.
My goodness, good for you. And the volume is it usually higher in the spring, in the summer, in the fall?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting graph. So it's from January to June, it's almost, and then it kind of levels off. And I think we probably mirror your stats or even the Greater Las Vegas Association stats. It's just a big lump, and then it tails off to December is our lowest month, but still we're doing hundreds in a month, even in December.
Sure. Well, it is a cyclical business, and you know, kind of the volume, you can kind of see that bell curve. You're exactly right of what's going on. So let's talk about home inspections. Years ago, and you know, dating myself, I've been selling real estate for a little over 30 years now. And 30 years ago, it was very rare that you would have a home inspection. 20 years ago, it became very popular, and today it's almost a must to have a home inspection. Larry, let me ask you: is it necessary, or is it common that people will get a home inspection on a brand new home?
So it is common, but it's a lot more common today than it was even 2 or 3 years ago.
Sure.
So I would say 90% of the homes that close each month are inspected.
Wow.
But the new builds, a much smaller percentage of them get done. But we do a new build probably every day now. And yes, absolutely get it done. But there's a couple things to know about new builds. One, be represented by a real estate agent.
You know what? Great point.
Yeah, you have to be represented by a real estate agent. And there's so many reasons why, and I'm sure you could expound on that. But number 2, be represented by an inspection, a third-party inspection. The builders here do a great job. I've even told Nat, the president of the Home Builders Association, I mean, I'm very impressed. From KB to Toll Brothers to Party, they all do a really fantastic job. That said, there's a million pieces and parts in a brand new house, and
sure.
Some of them are going to need attention. So when you sign up to get a home inspection on your brand new house, your house, it's just human nature, it's going to get a little bit extra scrutinizing by the superintendent. He's going to go there the day before your walkthrough, and he's going to make sure it's clean and polished and all the little scratches and things are not there. So those aren't really that much of our concern. We want to check the AC units, the insulation. We find plumbing issues. I was on a new build yesterday and it had a plumbing leak under the master bathroom sink that nobody knew about.
Yeah, you know, I guess it could happen, but having somebody looking not only how pretty, how the tile, how the grout lines are all straight and everything, but actually having someone checking out all the systems.
Yeah, you don't want to beta test your house the first week you're living there. You want someone to run it through its paces, and then they're going to fix it immediately. And here's the reason that you want it done before you sign is it's a whole different queue that you go into after you're a homeowner. That's the customer service crews, whereas if the day before you sign, the final sign off, that's the construction guy. So they're going to pull Joe off of the site across the street to come fix it like that.
Sure, it's funny that you say that, and many builders, you've mentioned lots of them, they always do want to put, that's their signature to the world, and showing off. The first thing people are going to do when they move into their new home is invite all their family and friends over, and that's that builder's opportunity to get some additional sales. So I found that they are very consumer friendly. Many times you're right, they'll even have sometimes pull somebody off of the construction crew and kind of walk through as things are going if there's anything, and again they want to prepare that house, but if there is something that needs a little attention, pull somebody off, get it addressed right then and there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, do you also do pre-inspections, maybe while the home is under construction? Do you do any inspections prior to?
We do. We call that a phase inspection.
Okay.
So typically there's 3 phases. Pre-concrete, so we want to see the trenches, are they deep enough, wide enough, is the rebar in the right places, is the plumbing coming up in the right spots. Then the frame walk. And this is, a lot of times the customer will be invited to do a frame walk as well. So they're going to come, and before they put the sheetrock up, they're going to come look at where all the rooms are laid out and all the plumbing lines. Well, we're interested in everything behind the walls. And it's an important time to show up, because once the sheetrock is up, repairs are a lot more difficult. So, and then there's the final. So right before the customer does their final walkthrough and their final sign-offs. So most people are happy with just the final. Sure. Some very particular customers want a frame walk and a final. I've only been asked to do all 3 phases a couple of times.
Sure, but knowing that, and thank you for sharing that, that's great information to have, is obviously after it's sheetrocked, it's a little difficult to do a frame walk.
And so it's messy.
Yeah. right. So you would want to pre-plan that and kind of go through. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about fees for a resale home, for a brand new home, if they were to do multiple phases there, and maybe for different size homes. Do you have different fee structures, or what?
We do. It goes on square
cost?
foot. So a typical home inspection in Las Vegas right now, under 2,000 square feet, is $300. That said, a condo is only $225.
Perfect.
So, but we've done super huge buildings that are $1,000, and I did the old Circuit City building on West Sahara last week. It was, it's thousands of dollars because it's 40,000 square feet. So I'm a master inspector, and I can do any size building. I'm not limited by square footage. Most home inspectors are what's called a residential inspector, and they're limited to 10,000 square feet per day.
Oh, per day?
Per day.
Okay, wonderful. Well, now, and the home inspection field has really developed and grown over the couple of years, and they have an association, don't they?
We do. I'm proud to be this year's president of the Association of Southern Nevada.
Look at that. Was that a great segue in there? Who is the president? Mr. Presidente right here.
Yeah, so this is not a paid position. It's just done out of concern or passion for the industry. I feel that it's our responsibility to bring the new guys on with some sort of mentoring, and we have collaborative meetings, and even though we're competitors, we're all very friendly, and we share information, and just as you guys have an association that looks after your interests, so do we, and we're consulted by the real estate division when they want to make changes to the laws and so forth, and it's been great. It's called SNAPI. It's a funny name, Southern Nevada Association of Professional Property Inspectors.
Perfect.
I've been a board member for a number of years, and this year the president.
Oh, that's outstanding. No, I think you're exactly right. So real estate is kind of a funny business. In one sense, you're kind of competitors to see which agent a client's going to choose. But then we're also very cooperative. And I find that agents are, and much like home inspectors, there's best business practices out there. Right. And just by sharing, it kind of allows us all to provide better service, which at the end of the day, it's providing great service for those customers.
Yeah, you don't want some real estate agent going out there half-cocked doing something weird that gives real estate agents a bad name, and same for home inspectors. We want them to be competent and confident in what they're doing. Perfect.
So let me ask you this. If somebody had a home inspection, do you recommend that the buyer show up to that inspection? Do they show up, should they show up maybe an hour into the inspection? What do you recommend with that? Or is it not necessary for them to be there at all?
So if they're out of state, obviously they can't be here. If they're working 9 to 5 and the only time we can get into the house is 9 to 5, then yeah, they're going to get a great, complete, detailed report with hundreds of photos and annotations. But if they can make it, that's all the better. So we recommend that they show up right before the end. So if it's a 2-hour inspection, they can show up an hour and 45 minutes later. They'll have 15 minutes to debrief with the inspector. What did you find? Because that way, now when they see, oh, there's this thing is broken over here, and they're going to recognize that from, oh yeah, that was in the laundry room, and they have context. So it is always better to be present. However, it's not a bad thing if, like I said, they're out of state. We do a lot of out of state work. People that we've never met them, and they're just looking at it online. And sometimes the agent will show up as well, and we'll walk them through and just show them what we found, and then of course it'll be in the report.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and sometimes when you read the narrative, the actual written report, it can make, especially, home buyers, they may not do this every day like you and I do.
Right.
The last time that they bought or sold a house, it may have been 8 or 10 years ago. So sometimes just reading that narrative doesn't do it justice when they're actually there, and you can kind of point things out. But you and I were talking a little bit earlier in preparation for our podcast here, and you were saying that rather than showing up right at the very beginning of a report, you usually recommend that somebody shows up maybe 45 minutes, an hour into the report, because...
Right, because they don't know something.
Yeah,
right. When an inspector steps out of his truck, he doesn't know anything about that house. And, so they're going to be sitting around waiting.
Waiting for you. Hey, what did you discover?
Yeah, what did you find?
Let me get my ladder out first. Let me go.
So you want to run the appliances, get the heat going, or the AC. He wants to get on the roof, and we want to get some water flowing through that house and put it through its paces. I want to open up every kitchen drawer and door.
Fantastic.
So he's going to be doing that in the next hour or two. And if the customer's there and they're in the middle of the inspection and they find something significant, they'll probably come and get them and say, Mrs. Smith, why don't you come look what I've noticed here in your swimming pool, and there's this gaping hole in it, or whatever.
Sure.
So if there's something significant, they'll stop and they'll just show it to them. Probably not great to follow the inspector around. We've had situations where the family shows up with the uncle and the aunt and the pets and the kids, and the guy's walking through the hall with his ladder, and and the kid turns the corner and bumps into the inspector, and it's so you have
I'm just kind of visualizing that in my head, and I can kind of see that happening.
You guys have a whole set of challenges that you deal with, and we have a whole another set.
Sure.
So that's one of them, and we have to. That's also why we do an apprenticeship of 100 homes. So let's say that you're a licensed home inspector. You just fresh out of school. You're able to go out and do a home inspection.
Sure.
I wouldn't advise it. But so when my guys are in that position, they come and they work in the office for a little bit, and they learn to read the reports and find the common issues, and then we take them out on 100 properties. I want them to see everything from mansions to double wides, from perump with well and septic to a commercial building. So when you do see me on an inspection site, you're going to see me with another guy, and that's usually what they're doing, is they're trying to earn their 100 houses or their 100 properties, so that I don't want them to ever get stumped.
Sure.
If they show up at a house, it's something they've already seen, they've already dealt with, they're experienced.
Well, it makes sense. If you did 5 inspections, 10, 25, versus 100 apprentice appointments and various roles, shadowing somebody, there's just a huge amount of knowledge above and beyond just being prepared to be able to do it, but to be able to do the effective job. That sounds like an amazing training program, and that's probably
really worked.
Probably is one of the reasons why your business does so well and such in high demand. I know that many times we're working with somebody that's bought a home with us in the past, and hey, are we going to use Larry again for the home inspection and his team?
Oh, it's great to hear.
So yeah, no, that is fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about a home inspection versus a home warranty. Is a home inspection, is that a home warranty?
No, but it often gets confused as one. So a home inspection is a snapshot of what's taken place at that day, at that time. So we document the fact that, hey, your AC is blowing out at 47.5 degrees, and your oven came up to temperature in 350 degrees to bake, and your hot water is coming out at this. And so we're documenting everything that we find on that day. Next week, things change. They change rapidly or they change slowly, but they do change.
Sure.
When I first turned my AC on this spring, one of them wasn't working. So you know what? I called my home warranty company. I'm a big believer in home warranties. Sure, it cost me $75 to have the guy come out, but it would have been $450 to have a fan motor replaced. The fan went out sometime over the winter, I don't know how, maybe a surge of electricity, who knows how these things happen, but it cost me $75. And it's
Sure.
working like a champ today because it's going to be 95 degrees today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the home inspection gives you information about the home, and one of the beautiful parts about that is most home warranties, which will then cover the services, the heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical for like a 12-month period. Various home warranty companies will have different amounts for the policy itself. They'll cover certain things, each one's a little different. Sometimes they'll cover certain things and another warranty may not cover certain things. They'll have different deductibles on there, but many of them have some language, some common language that they don't cover pre-existing conditions.
Right.
So therein lies, is that another...
Well, a good rule of thumb is
that
home warranty, future, home inspection, present and past.
Sure.
So we document, hey, looks like it's been damaged, it is working, however, we'll make a comment on it, like, there's some pet damage done to your AC unit outside.
Perfect.
So once that's documented, and you haven't bought the house yet, you and your agent, that's where you guys work your magic. And I've seen back and forth the negotiations that happen, and sometimes we get called to come up again and go, oh, look, they replaced it, or they fixed it, or whatever it is.
Sure.
And now when the home warranty company asks for that, they're going to see, oh, the AC was working perfectly fine when the inspector was here. So they're not going to dispute it.
Right, so it kind of, you've got a licensed home inspector that's saying that everything was working on that day. It kind of really eliminates that argument of was it a pre-existing condition?
That's right.
Because on that date, everything was working.
I've had so many emails and phone calls about that. Like, yes, thank God you had that in the report. That,
Perfect.
because that way my home warranty company asked for the report. They saw that it was working. They could even see the photographs of the temperature that it was blowing out. And
Perfect.
now there's no question about it.
Perfect. So let me ask you that. Let's say somebody was not able to be on an inspection. It's an out-of-state person. They're then reading the report. If they have questions later about that report, are they able to reach back out to your staff, to you, to the actual inspector that did it? What would be what could they do if they had questions?
So yeah, mostly they call. Of course, you could email. They could call us. They call the office. If it's a super general question, the office staff can help. They can look up the report. We have 12,000 reports, logged, and we can just look up any one of them. And they can also have the same one on their screen, and we can scroll through together and go line by line by line. Some buyers are like that. They want to have a verbal explanation of each thing. We try to write the reports in such a way that it is descriptive enough that they don't have to. And also, the real estate agents are very knowledgeable and experienced usually with these things, right? And so they're going, oh, what does he mean the T&P line is not draining the right way? And the real estate agent, well, that's on the hot water heater, and it's this, So the easy stuff is easy. If it's more technical and they need assistance, then they usually get a hold of the inspector or me.
Okay.
And then we'll walk them through it.
Perfect. Yeah, and again, that is one of the things that the buyers that I'm working with really love is the fact that you'll be able to roll up your sleeves, dive in, help answer any questions that they have, and really help them feel comfortable with the process. And again, that is it's back to us. Is most times a contract is written subject to this home inspection. So if there are issues, that's the time that then we can negotiate with the seller, see what we need to do to try to get that resolved and fixed.
Yeah, I mean, not that we do home inspections for that purpose, but I've seen people save or spend less money on their home purchase because of home inspections.
Perfect.
And it could be, because maybe the seller didn't know the water heater was dripping. And suddenly now you end up with a brand new water heater. And, whereas,
Sure.
It was working, so they never noticed it, but all the bikes and the gym gear and everything's all around the water heater. And we got in there and looked, oh, it's dripping.
Yeah, not many people inspect their hot water heater every day or month as it goes. Anyhow, Larry, I just so appreciate you spending the time with us this morning, kind of helping. I'm more knowledgeable about doing the whole thing, and again, being proactive, working with a good partner in any business. You're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. So we're just happy to be working with you and the good quality work that you do. So as always, if you know anybody that has questions about real estate, curious about what their home may be worth, thinking about buying a home, selling a home, investing in real estate, we'd love to help you out right here. Rick and Terry Brinkus at the Brinkus team, Keller Williams Realty, the Marketplace. Phone number is, I think it's right behind Larry's shoulder there, 702-456-5959. Talk to you real soon.